I think I've summoned the courage to make a video after a long time. And I don't know, I think a lot has happened in my life since we last met. I don't know if you remember me, but I used to have long hair, and I'm not suffering from anything. The reason why I cut my hair is not because of any health issues or anything like that. It was just sort of a way for me to say goodbye to an old self. It happens to me. I'm inspired by the Buddhists, their philosophy. Trying to try what I can do if I can go creatively on this thing. Wait, you have to fun around a bit in order to figure out a couple of things actually. So if I put this light like right here and then put it down, whoa, we're seeing a considerable difference already. I don't know how much lights matter to you. Trying filmmaking, and I'm realizing how nuanced it is. How nuanced filmmaking is actually. Like, how the thing that you're trying to shoot is, requires a good mic, such as this one right here. Is a DJI mic. I don't know if you're able to see this, but this is the mic. Oh, whoa. So the dead cat is removed. Let's try this, how it turns out to be. So I'm just here trying to do kachar pichar with the light. Everyone is choosing the safest of the safest paths. But filmmaking is tough. I mean, if you want to become a director, or if you see things, you have a vision for things, then, in order to articulate it in such a manner that it develops into a storytelling kind of a thing that allows people to feel something, that's filmmaking. At least that's what I've figured so far. Like, it does something to you. The film, whatever you see, does something to you. In a small way, perhaps, or in a life-changing way. And I think visual medium is one of the most powerful mediums. Now, you can't compare books with cinema, or, there are two different art forms, and I don't think they can be compared. These are two things that I don't think should be compared. I remember I watched this round table interview, sort of not a podcast, but it was kind of an interview, where these Nobel laureates, literature, Nobel Prize winner, I forgot the name, god damn it, please God, make me remember. Okay, I'm not remembering the name right now, but that guy was sitting with these people, these Nobel laureates, and the physicists and this literature Nobel laureate. They were talking about movies and literature, and the physicist said, if I'm not wrong, he said that he prefers books over cinema and sort of a thing. And the literature guy who writes said that he thought that these two mediums, these two art forms are different, and that they should not be compared, which I think is very beautiful understanding of both the sides, like both the art forms. Like, we quickly jump into conclusions and say, oh, the Harry Potter books were so nice in comparison with the film version of it. And I know there are die-hard fans of the films as well, but if you see someone who actually read books, they'll always say that they prefer books over cinema. Now, why is that? I think one of the reasons is because books allow you to hallucinate. If you read a book properly, you'll start to see things rather than just read words. You won't be reading words, you'll be reading pictures. It's like that. And I should be changing the light from here to there. Wait. The reason why I cut my hair is not because of any health issues or anything like that. It was just sort of a way for me to say goodbye to an old self. It happens to me. I'm inspired by the Buddhists, their philosophy, a little bit actually, like why the monks, shave their head, and it's kind of a measure for me to connect with my inner self. At the same time, I think shaving head allows me to look deeper inside and do away with the distractions that life has to present or forgive, or even my own hair can be sort of a distraction. But now that I've cut them, I miss them, and that's for sure. I do miss my hair very, very much, but what's gone is gone, and we should not, like they say, we should not dwell in the past, for it only knows to past is like a black hole. It will always engulf you into something that's already happened, that's already a thing of the past. And when you know that time only moves forward and never goes backward, so there's no point in delving into something which is already gone. But is it already gone? It's never gone. Past is always there. It's like present with us more than the future, because future we haven't lived through, but past we have lived through, and it's a concrete thing. And I think past should be given importance, like the past of people we are associated with, the kind of people that we get into relationships with. And I think past is very important in that case as well. See, we're jumping from cinema lights into other things, and I think that's one of my things. And I don't know if you've been with me on my journey on YouTube, but my mind works like this, and I don't know, it's a relief. It's a relief to be able to speak after a long time. I think when you just shut up, don't talk to people, you just shut up, like shh, you don't say much. So I'm grateful to YouTube for providing this platform. And I don't know that perhaps people won't watch this, and that's completely alright. I don't think if I am actually doing this for people, although I have motives and motives to provide some sort of a service to the audience that's watching, and I'd be more than grateful if I could help people in some way or the other. Besides that, I do think I have a certain few skills that I think I could use in order to progress on YouTube. So I'd be coming up with ideas, different sort of ideas in different time periods, I think, or different videos. But I'm just gonna keep it as natural as possible. So like I was saying, past is very important, and whether it be a person or something that may have had happened to you. But the only thing that's wrong with all of that is the fact that if we end up living our lives in past, that'll be a disservice to this thing. So living in the present and allowing past to exist, living in some sort of a symbiosis with the understanding of the past, and then using that knowledge of the past, like for example, I'll tell you what I'm trying to say. I think I have a way of losing myself, or I think I get lost in my own conversation. I think I've realized that. See, a thing of past that I've realized, and I'm going to use this very moment, this present moment, to correct that. Okay, so I don't know, I have been having conversations with around 18 to, like, let's say, in the age bracket of 18 to 30 years of age. And some of the common problems that I see these guys facing is, one of them is, relationship problems, and that takes a lot of time, it consumes a lot of time and effort and energy and purpose. Like the purpose is snatched away if some wrong person comes in their life. So in order for, I think, first of all, 20s to 30s are not meant for building something, a concrete, it's for building something, a concrete relationship, but if you don't find, let's say, a person worthy enough or good enough for that, and also people are not a prize, they're not a trophy, so please don't consider investing your time and energy into people who don't actually really deserve it or have done anything to deserve that. So a couple of things that, let's say, as men, we're speaking, as man to man, you have to consider the person's past, where they, the kind of there are habits, of, let's say, talking louder or talking to people, having a lot of friends. That should speak a lot. And if they're talking about other people a lot, they're using other people's names and so on. So those are signs where you need to know that, okay, this, there's a problem and that I need to get rid of and get away from. So if somebody has anything, related to these, you should consider being careful a bit. Not judge them, but see for yourself and then make a decision. But these are the problems. These are the trending problems that I'm seeing in society. The trending problems are like relationship problems like this. People using terms like situationships and so on and so forth, which to them sounds cool, but I think for the future. Now, if you think about future, we come from past. If you think about future, that's going to be a big problem, because having sex with a lot of people, what the next thing that happens is, if you are with multiple people, first of all, you get your reproductive systems, they become weak and weaker if you are involving yourself in these activities for a long period of time. So what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to give birth. You're going to have miscarriages, and your body is going to be affected by all of that. So if you preserve energy, if you preserve yourself, your body, and you don't allow a lot of people to have a taste of it, then I think the chances are that you have a more healthier and life and body, so to be able to continue life on planet Earth. It's as simple as that. And for this goes for men as well. I think if you're indulging in, you would never be able to die peacefully, I think, first. Second is that you would always live in these you live two lives, where you think about, what if I gave my all to this one person, and not chase those bitches calling for me, something like that. So self-control and all of that, it's very important in order to develop a future. But these are problems, I think, which are affecting, these are trending problems. And I think trending problems, like trend, they come and go. But this trending problem has stayed for quite a bit, I think, which will affect the trajectory of our future, I think. And but I would still, on a scale of 10, I think this problem is, like, let's say on a level, on a third or fourth level, because there are other major problems that people have to go through, and where they delve into their past, and it could be traumatic experiences from past, like, let's say somebody's father, mother, anyone close, dogs, they die, and they live with this issues. They start to build issues, psychological issues, of loss and grief, and that affects decision making and choices in life. You start to abandon a lot of things in order to not feel something again, and that's again something that's a problem now, which goes a level up. So if a lot of people are selling you, let's say, solutions to problems, but I would say, I think these people that you're listening to, or whoever you listen to, if you see someone giving you a solution to a problem, which is great,
But I think what's more important is for you to identify the problem at the first place. You need to identify the problem that's affecting you. Once you identify the problem that you're dealing with, you may as well find the solution. And then once you find the solution, that's when the hardest part kicks in. What do you go if you have a solution? How are you going to execute it, and what practices are you going to include in your life in order to sustain and in order to have a more better life in comparison to how you were having before, and what kind of shit you were going through and thinking. Like they say, human beings suffer more in imagination than in real life. So because I think you're living in past, more people are living in past, like, they don't ever give present a try, and the present has a lot of opportunities to offer, I think. And people should not live in past. I think that's the message for today. And I'm trying my best to be as frequent as possible on YouTube, and I don't know if I'm being able to provide some service, but I hope I am. And if I am, then it's good. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.